Canada 2, the USA 1. In the first friendly after the shambolic summer that we had, the shambolicness continues. This team is entitled, complacent, lifeless, limp, flaccid, and frankly pathetic. Absolute disaster of a game. All right? Just completely, tactically inept, no hunger, no desire. Nothing about this team makes me believe that they have any shame at all for what they did this summer. Okay? These players should have come out in this game eager to prove a point, eager to prove that this last summer was a terrible, terrible thing, but demonstrate that they're better than that and that things will turn around from here on out. Did any single player on this team tell you through their attitude, through their actions, their body language, through their play, did any single one of these players show any shame for what they did to us this summer? No, not one. Instead, they gave us more of the same shit. The same lackluster, complacent, entitled team. And I'll tell you what, man, Pochettino has his work cut out for him. It has never been more important for Pochettino, for whoever the coach is going to be. Let's hope to God it's Pochettino and he doesn't run screaming back to Barcelona after seeing this performance. But he's going to need to turn this team around. And right now, it's not even about tactics, right? Right now, it's not about tactics. It's about mentality. That is the number one job. The complacency and the entitlement of these players has to go. That's it. Look, the tactics were terrible today, but that's not the point. The point is none of these players showed any reason that they are proud to wear this shirt, that they are proud to represent the fans. And then people like McKennie or Pulisic go out there and blame the fans and say, oh, how come the fans, it's hard, the fans come out to support us. You haven't given the fans any reason to support you, right? It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, no wonder we can't fill an MLS stadium. No wonder. What American would want to watch? This team is so anti-American. It's incredible. Right? You watch a team like this, there's nothing American about them. No heart, no hunger, no desire, no sporting merit, no never say die attitude. Just a bunch of whiny little bitch boys. That's what I see on the field right now. And I was saying earlier, Tack, this game should have been, we are sorry for Copa America, and we're going to come back and we're going to show you that was a bad summer, but it doesn't define us as a team. There should have been some shame. Instead, we get this. No shame at all. Like, they think it's okay after the summer of failure that they had, to come out and put on a performance like that. That's and that's the problem with the American soccer mentality. The mentality is complacent and entitled and whiny. And I hate it.
It doesn't seem like they care. It's less about the result itself, because you can still play very well and lose. It can happen.
No, it's the performance.
It's the performance that was horrendous. And honestly, the result was a lot better than the performance. 2-1.
Oh, yeah.
We should have lost 3-4-0 to Canada. Yeah, Canada easily. Was much better. And we saw just the difference of a team that cared and has an actual coach. Marsh has his flaws, but he has a style of play, well-defined style of play, identity. The team knows how to play. We just don't look like we care. Our team looks like pathetic. We concede a goal, no one cares. We score a goal, no one cares. Like, it's very hard for the fans to care when you're watching this and you're seeing a bunch of players that don't give a flying crap. And good luck to Pochettino, man. He's going to need it. Good luck.
Yeah, I was saying that Pochettino's number one job is not even tactics. His number one job, it's not even player selection. His number one job is getting rid of 6 years of complacency and entitlement that is in this team. This team has, it's like stamped deep into their mentality now. Right? Even with Greg gone, it's still there. This like sort of like, oh, no. What are they going to tell us? It's still preparation for 2026, right? Like, come on. Absolute disgrace. This team is a disgrace to this country right now. They really are. An absolute disgrace. I don't get, people are going to come out, well, maybe we should admit that the players aren't as good as we think they are. These players are more than good enough to put on a strong performance against Canada. So I don't want to hear that from anybody. This team is more than enough talent and quality, but it's not even about talent and quality right now. All the talent and quality is great. If you have that mentality going into I don't care if it's a friendly, and I don't care if it's an interim coach, right? You owe it to the fans, especially after the disaster that this summer was. You owe it to the fans to turn in a different performance than that was.
And we play New Zealand on Tuesday. And again, like me and Pete, we cover this team, so we want more people to be interested. We want everyone to be involved. But I'm going to ask you a thing, Pete. Against New Zealand, after this performance, the way the players behaved, no Pochettino announcement yet, give me a reason to care about this game. Give me a reason right now.
Yeah, and with college football starting and the NFL around is the NFL started yet?
Yes, it has. They even played in Brazil, a game in Brazil.
So why should anybody pay attention to this now?
I don't know. I mean, and this is what's funny. Me and Pete are asking this question, just to be honest. We need more people to pay attention. That's how we get views. It's people caring. You want more people to care. You want the sport to grow. But I can't really give anyone a solid reason to care about this game on Tuesday. We're going to cover it. We're going to cover it. Don't worry, guys. We're going to cover it. But give in the chat right now. Put in the chat. Give us a reason to care about this game.
It's tough. It's really tough. DK57 says, yeah, Mark, which is Thai for that was awful. Or very bad. Alexander Mantooth, noted Columbus Crew fan, and Columbus Crew shill, says, I want 10 Aiden Morrises and a Patrick Schulte. That's nice, man. That's nice. I'm glad you think that. Chris Cosenza, hangover from Berhalter era is real. Yeah, it is. It's 100% real. But Berhalter's gone now, right? And also, motivation is intrinsic. Top players don't need a coach to motivate them. Okay, the best players in the world, the players who go far, they don't need some coach to come in and get them fired up for a game. The motivation comes from within. It's an intrinsic thing. And it's you constantly driving yourself to be better, to be at the top of your game. Say what you want about a guy like Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a very, very talented player, and not everybody likes his off-field stuff or his personality, whatever. But the one thing I've always admired about that guy is that he has worked so hard to stay at the top of the world's game for as long as possible. He never had as much talent as Messi did, but he worked so hard to be a top 2 player in the world for 20 years. And that is the mentality that more of our players need to have. It's what made Clint great. Clint never had the talent of a world-class player. He was a good player, but he worked really fucking hard to push himself to be at the highest possible edge that his talent allowed, right?
Watch like Ronaldo. I've always been very critical of Cristiano Ronaldo, but there's a big gap in talent between Ronaldo and Messi, and just the fact that Ronaldo and Messi are compared to each other just shows how hard that guy has worked.
Yeah. Matt Poliquin, I'm just apathetic at this point. Yeah, I understand that. Why should you not be, right? At some point, you can be only angry for so long, right? If you talk to a psychiatrist, this would sound like a bad relationship, right? And at some point, the psychiatrist is going to go, just get out of it. And we're not saying anyone should get out of it now. Look, Pochettino's around the corner. Let's give Pochettino a chance to turn this mentality around, and I believe he will. But
so it's like you're in a bad relationship with the girl, and she's like very toxic, and then she randomly got a boob job, and then you stay a little bit longer. That's what you're saying?
That sounds like the plot of The Office. Remember, Jan gets a boob job and Mike gets back together with her?
That's Pochettino. Pochettino was when Jan got a boob job, and he's like, I got to stay with her now.
I think Pochettino is Sydney Sweeney. It's like you're dating some whatever. And then Sydney Sweeney's like, hey, I'm available. And you're like, yes. And she's like, I just have to break up with my boyfriend first. It's going to take about a month because there's a lot of stuff we need to work out. So if you hang on for me in the meantime, try to get laid for these couple of days here just to tide yourselves over. But you have no game. So you try to get laid and it's just terrible.
We're definitely getting laid, just not the way we wanted. That's what I'll say. We've been getting laid a lot lately, just not the way we wanted. Oh, God.
Greg got credit for Vegas when he wasn't there. Yeah, that wasn't Greg. That was BJ Callahan.
Yeah, guys, listen. Also today, was there still like a Berhalter legacy there? Yeah, but we got to stop blaming Berhalter at some point. He's not there anymore.
Berhalter's gone, for sure. Is the mentality of this team the result of the last 6 years of Berhalter? Yes, but Berhalter's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do now, right? Way better atmosphere at the Washington Spirit game in DC, shaking my head. Unfortunately, Yanks only care about EPL, Messi, CR7, and World Cup. Canada has more class. Man, the Canada National Twitter handle has like 15,000 followers. Like,
they have less followers than Tactical Manager, dude.
And 11 Yanks.
And 11
Yanks. Even less than Tactical Manager. So, they have less followers than MLS Moves. Pretending that Canada cares. There are 15,000 very passionate Canada fans, and kudos to them. But let's not over-exaggerate how much Canada cares about soccer here.
I want to say one thing, too, about Canada. If many people don't remember, the Canadian men's national team was in shambles before Jesse Marsch took over. They failed to make it to the semifinals of Nations League. They were close to declaring bankruptcy. They didn't only have less followers than Tactical Manager on Twitter. They had less money in the bank account, which is also a disgrace, by the way.
They couldn't even get a new jersey for the World Cup. They couldn't play friendlies.
Pete, I got jerseys for my event here, Tactical Manager jerseys, and they couldn't get jerseys. I got New Jersey, and they couldn't get jerseys.
And this is the team we're losing to.
Yeah, but then they got Jesse Marsch, a coach that put them back on track with all his flaws, by the way. He's far from a perfect coach. He's not even a great coach, in my opinion, but he got them on track. So that's why I am choosing to remain optimistic about Pochettino. I think there could be changes much quicker than we expect when he comes in.
Yeah, let's hope so. That's the only thing we're holding on to right now. S. Grammer says, perhaps instead of being a whiny child, perhaps Pulisic should hit the weight room. Sets the tone for soft, snot-nosed, entitled children. Look, Pulisic doesn't need to hit the weight room. Okay, it's a mentality issue. He hits the weight room, he's going to lose a lot of his explosiveness. He can't just this is the American solution to everything. Lift weights. Brendan Aronson could lift all the weights in the world. It's a balance issue with him, okay? It's a balance at speed. It's a core issue. But I do agree with you, S. Grammer, about him being whiny. He's always been that way. He gets pushed over. What does he do? Instead of get back up and go make the tackle or continue to press, he sits. This is classic Pulisic. Like, if you could sum up Pulisic every time he falls over, turn to the referee, that's Pulisic for you. And I love Pulisic. I still think he's the best player we've ever had. But I really fucking hate how whiny he is whenever he gets pushed over.
Maybe he should do not weight room, because he doesn't need to get also getting just stronger in general wouldn't really fix that. Maybe they should put him to do martial arts to become a little bit tougher and not lose explosive. Like Zlatan did a lot of that, right? Kickboxing, that's what Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Have Pulisic do some martial arts. Yeah.
MMA.
To toughen up a little bit and not lose his explosiveness or any of that. Even probably increase a little bit the athletic ability, if anything.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu teaches you how to be in control of your mind, right? Your mind is in control the entire time, but there's a fearlessness that comes with that, right? Yeah, but I generally agree with you, S. Grammer. I do. Strasbourg Steve must be a Wiley fan. We had zero hunger or energy. These turnovers are either lack of effort or lack of intelligence. We played into Canada's strengths. Shout out to Schulte. Yeah, 100% Strasbourg Steve. Thank you, Chunky. Canadians acting like they just won the World Cup. Well, that's not surprising. We know that, remember, Canada finishes top of World Cup qualifying and they called themselves champions of CONCACAF or kings of CONCACAF. You have to look, Canadians are still new to the sport, right? And so they suffer from a lack of context at times. But you know what? Congratulations to Canada. They showed up today. They played well. They outfought us. Absolutely deserve it. If they deserve to make fun of us. They really do, right? They got the result. And they looked better, a lot better. Scally needs a diaper because he stinks. Look, Scally is the same guy he's been his entire career, right? He's a good 1v1 defender, and that's why he's playing in the Bundesliga. But if you're expecting, Scally to be a good attacking player, he's just never going to be that, right? That's not who he is as a player. He doesn't have the tools. He's never going to become that. That's Scally. And right now, after Dest, we don't have a better right back option unless we play Weah there, right? Or McKennie. Those are some potential options, but let's wait and see what Pochettino does. S. Grammer clarifying, weight room, a euphemism to get tougher. Yeah, no, I agree. Wolf Perez. All right, I'm going to only address this one time, and this is a classic reaction in the moment. I'm super anti-MLS, but I would prefer getting guys that at least show effort. What do you all think? Guys, why are we pretending like we haven't been down this MLS path? Berhalter's entire first cycle was riddled with these high effort, eyes and vibes, effort players. What happened? Last year, we had a Gold Cup. Okay, that was all high effort MLS players. We just played in the Olympics with a team that was mostly high effort MLS players. At no point have these high effort MLS players ever showed that they can do better. Come on. Like, sure, we want all of our guys to show effort, whether they're in MLS or not. But saying the guys in MLS, Leggett, Roldan, Morris, Ferreira, Long, Miles, Yedlin, come on. Like, we know they are not it.
What about when we failed to qualify to the World Cup?
Yes, it was all MLS players. All MLS players. And they were leaders on their team. That's what Matt Beasler, we needed more leaders on the team, said.
I agree with the sentiment and the idea that the players need to show some grit, some passion, like they care, like they give a crap, because they haven't really showed that for quite some time. Even in the Copa America, we lose to Panama. McKennie goes out to a hookah bar. Sure, go have a life, but have some shame after you get the worst loss the U.S. men's national team had in a competitive match since we failed to qualify to the World Cup. Again, like they've very often shown they don't care because they had a coach in the past, Greg Berhalter, that just kind of allowed a certain group to do whatever they wanted. That is Pochettino's biggest challenge. Show these players that if you, like, for example, I'll give you guys an example. Tim Weah's red card against Panama. What did Greg Berhalter do right after? He let Weah stay with the team, practice, watch. No, Weah did that, got a 2 or 3 game suspension, whatever. Weah, go back to Italy. Maybe we'll see you next camp. Maybe not. Get out of here. We're not going to tolerate.
And then he went on to whine. And then instead of taking responsibility, he was being whiny about his about how people were saying he was violent. He was playing victim. I
thought he was actually the opposite of violent. If you're going to punch someone, at least throw a meaningful punch. That was like a weak ass punch that he put out there. I thought he was the opposite of violent. He was basically Gandhi with that punch. It was very weak.
So Samuel, I'm not sure how I create a divide on the team. Maybe we should ask Pulisic how Pete is responsible for creating a divide on this team.
So
it's us. It's you and me. The reason why this team lost today is because me and Tack created a divide between Brendan Aronson. That's why Aronson missed the peanut that Pulisic throwed, because we created a divide. That's the big problem.
Were we the ones also that went to Ernie Stewart to talk about Greg Berhalter kicking his girlfriend and then Gio Reyna being ratted out in a leadership conference?
Yes, we created the divide.
And John Brooks, and then McKennie partying after the game. That's all.
I hold my hand up. Pochettino's number one job needs to get rid of me and Tack because we created divide on this team. Okay, that's the big problem right now. CC Heat.
Imagine Pochettino's first press conference, like, yeah, we got to get rid of those 2 YouTube channels right now. It's really affecting the culture within
the team. But we were there all of last cycle, and the culture was supposedly great. Remember, everyone was telling us how wonderful the culture was
because we were slowly destroying it.
Slow. It was like a slow grind.
It was slow. It was slow.
Yeah, very slowly. But we apologize, Samuel Cutts. We will try to be better about unifying this team. CC Heat says, hi, guys. Reyna got a broken leg after an aggressive play by Canada in 2023. Then I watched Charlie Davies basically saying it's time to move on from Gio. Then I watched the U.S. versus Canada. Frustrated fan. You are welcome to do whatever you want. I don't watch or take anything that Charlie Davies says seriously, okay, for lots and lots of reasons. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But I understand your problem. Reyna getting it. But this injury was not on Canada. He got injured before Canada. So Reyna getting injured is not really Canada's fault. But I understand what you're saying. You are frustrated. And I don't blame you. We're all frustrated here, man. It really sucks. It really, really sucks.
And Pete, just to add one thing here too. These players have shown time in and time out they don't really seem to care about the results of the national team. Like they just move on with their life. They don't seem to give a crap. What makes anyone think they even watch any video or much? They'll see like social media comments. They don't care enough to see what people are saying on YouTube. any of these players, dude.
So I constantly down domestic players. Okay, Samuel Cutts, which domestic players would you like to see on this team? I want you to tell me, okay? Since you're speaking in riddles and poor English, tell me which players, which MLS players, domestic players as you call them, should be on this team, and which ones you would take out for them, and why, and how exactly that would make us better. I'm fascinated, because if you're going to say things like this, you better have back up by facts and evidence. So go ahead and do that, Samuel, or forever shut the fuck up, okay? Thank you. Pete, we need Griffin Dorsey. See, here we go. Someone with a plan. I don't agree with this plan, and he doesn't even agree with it, but he put a name. We need Griffin Dorsey for Serginho Dest, for example. Make an argument. I might disagree with your argument, but if you say we need Griffin Dorsey instead of Serginho Dest, at least you have a plan, right? Have a plan. Let's see here. I'm not going to stay live for super long because there's not much to talk about this game, really. Were there any positives from this game? The only one I can think of offhand was that I thought Malik Tillman, while he was on the field, showed some bright sparks. I don't think he was great either, but I thought he showed some moments where you're like, that's the talent that is the talent that Malik Tillman has. And if he can start doing that more consistently, he'll be challenging for a starting spot, right? Anyone else?
Because our goalkeeper situation is so bad, the fact that Patrick Schulte was able to bounce back, I think he earned another start. I thought, honestly, if it wasn't for Schulte, he probably would have lost 3-4-0. He made some good saves. After the goal he conceded, probably should have saved that. That goal, a good chunk of it is on him. But after that, is there anything to complain about him? Made some good saves with his feet. Not perfect, but better than Turner. Better than Turner with his feet. So I guess Schulte is I wouldn't want to call it a positive, but I guess slight positive. And outside of that, it was mostly horrendous. People talk about Luca Del Torre scored. He also didn't look sharp outside of that. Didn't look sharp on the ball. Multiple cases. Scored an offside goal. Aiden Morris came in, looked good, looked safe, but then maybe Aiden Morris earned a chance for the next game to start. He looked better than Johnny. He looked better than Musa. But outside of that, it was pretty bad. Pretty bad from everyone.
Yeah, nobody was good, right? Nobody was good today. Schulte had a good performance outside of
above average. Tillman was above average.
So yeah, look, the issues are the issues, but again, I think most of these issues aren't exactly issues of like, oh, is this team not good enough? Or even if you change one or two positions here and there, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I think the problem with the team is a mentality and a culture that runs all the way through this team. It runs all the way through this team. You see it with everybody, right? You see it with everybody from the leaders like Pulisic and Adams. You know, Jesse Marsch, people don't like what Jesse Marsch says because he sounds petty or whatever. And Kyle Martino was on the thing about Jesse Marsch. But he was right. He's right. He called out the players for like begging for Greg Bow. We run through a wall for Greg. Greg talks about our wives with us. And then they come out and they're like, oh, well, actually, we think it's time for a change after he was fired, right? That tells you everything about the mentality of the players, right? It's a bitch mentality. Now you're going to come out on your guy after he was fired, after you begged for him to come back? How about you take some these players, man, they've really been pissing me off this year. Really have. I mean, since Greg came back the second time, it's a cultural problem. We always talk about a love for mediocrity, right? And here we are. Like, this is what mediocrity does. It is a mentality and a culture that's screams.
I don't know if you feel, it feels very often that this team is like on cruise control, just kind of like going through the motions. It doesn't seem like there's much at like whether you win or lose. We've said this in the beginning of the stream. We'll continue to say this. Pochettino's biggest challenge is not the player selection. The roster kind of picks itself for the most part. Starting 11, most of it also picks itself. It's how he's going to change the culture of this team, build an identity, and how fast he can do this. That's it. And that is why I'm hopeful that we might see drastic changes early on, because that is something you can change very quickly. Implement a system, all that might take some time, but the change in culture could be as soon as the players step their first foot in the first camp. As soon as they step in the first camp, that could change right away. send a few messages here and there, but and just once again, we're not overreacting to a loss in a friendly to Canada. The result itself is the least important of everything. It was the overall performance that was horrible.
Well, it's also this performance is not in a vacuum. We're just coming off a failure of a summer.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. Well,
it's been going on since Berhalter came back the second time. Since the Nations League win, we have looked like shit ever since.
No, we looked like shit before, Pete. We beat like Oman and Uzbekistan, and then we got obliterated by Germany. It was really bad that second half.
That was after the Nations League, right?
Yeah, that was before. And then
Oman Uzbekistan was after. That was in the summer. I mean, that was in the fall.
Oh, yeah. You mean since Berhalter got back in general? That's what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've looked at our peak under Berhalter. We looked mediocre. That was our peak mediocre. But mostly we look like complete crap.
So kudos to Samuel Cutts, right? He's got a solution for us now. Jesus Ferreira, all right? This guy does not even start for Dallas and has put in one of the worst performances that that a striker in the U.S. has ever put in against the Netherlands. And we want to try him again.
Pete,
I create a divide, and I'm down on domestic players. This guy does not even start for Dallas, but he's going to save us. All right. Cruz. Who's Cruz?
Pete, he's probably trolling you. That's what
I don't think he is. I think he's serious.
He's probably talking about Cruz Medina. He has to be trolling.
Is that Cruz Medina you're talking about?
Well, he's saying attacking 10. Cruz Medina's a 10, right? So that's what I'm assuming.
My brother in Christ. Either you are a fantastic joker or you are out of your mind. I'm going to choose to believe Tack, but based on past comments, sir, I have a feeling that you are not joking. We'll see. Let's go straight into player ratings because I don't want to keep talking about it. There's nothing more to say right now. We'll do the game on, against New Zealand on Sunday, but until Pochettino comes and smacks these players around a little bit, metaphorically speaking, before anybody gets angry in the chat, until he smacks them around a little bit, this mentality is not going to change.
Watch first camp for Pochettino smacks player, literally first camp.
I mean, if I speak, let's just do player ratings. And we'll start off with a good one, Schulte. I'm going to give Schulte 6.5 because I do think the goal was partially on him, but he had 4 other good saves. Actually, 5, because there was the one that Ream got nutmegged. Did you see that one in the last 10 minutes? Ream got nutmegged and Schulte had to make the save.
So you're giving him more, right?
I'll give him 7 then.
Yeah. I'm for Schulte, I'm probably somewhere between 7 or 7.5. The goal, let's just put it into perspective here. The goal, he should have saved it, but it wasn't also like a blatant mistake, right? Like he miskicked the ball or went through his legs. It wasn't absurd, the mistake. It was a mistake.
Yeah, right? Well, and I'll tell you specifically what he did. He came across his goal as the ball was played across his goal. His stance was way too wide, and he was flat-footed, right? If your stance is wide, you can't dive, right? You need to have your feet close together to be able to dive. The other thing is, anybody who's played goalkeeper will tell this, okay? You always on your toes. You're ready for a dive. You're never flat-footed. He was flat-footed with a wide stance, and the ball was an arm's length away from him, maybe slightly more. If he had dived, he could have saved it. So it's partially on Schulte. He should have done better on that goal. In every other aspect, though, he was great. He made some fantastic saves. One-handed, split-second, reaction saves that were really, really good. Well done. I'll give him a 7. He was probably the best performer today.
Came out of his line fine. Everything. So I'm going to give him a 7.5 then for this one. I thought Schulte was probably, I think only him and Tillman are going to go above a 5 maybe. We'll see. But I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah. I'm giving Scally a 3. He was really poor. Really, really poor. And especially if you look at a lot of the goals, they came from the left-hand side. Usually he's a good defender, but I felt like many times Scally failed to track back on Schaffelberg. And that's his job. You're a right back. Like, how do you let Schaffelberg pop around in and around the box? That's your job, to keep him quiet. And he offered nothing in the attack. 3.
Yeah, I'm going to be a bit more strict. I'm just going to give him a 2. Like you said, defensively, he wasn't as good as he is supposed to be. This is a game that he shouldn't really struggle outside of maybe Alphonso Davies. But he offered not just nothing up top. He offered nothing on the build-out. Sure, it's not his only job, but he was the fullbacks were much deeper than during the Berhalter era. They were helping on the build-out, right? They weren't very high up the field. And he offered nothing there. And when the ball went up top into the final third or out wide in the right flank, didn't really do shit. So I'm giving him a 2. Like, what else? Like, where do his points come from? Like, where does it come from? I don't know.
Richards. I'm giving Richards a 4 because he wasn't as bad as Ream, but I'll give Richards a 3 as well. He was also very slow with tracking players.
There was almost a goal that counted the score because he couldn't track.
Because he couldn't track Kyle Larin.
Which is not a fast player, by the way.
No. Richards, I don't care how many jokes he tells in the dressing room, guys.
3.
He plays a lot better for Crystal Palace than he ever does for the U.S.
I'm giving him a 3. Also, even on the ball, Ream had the bad giveaways. Richards didn't. But Richards also didn't really try anything on the ball. Didn't try to put a pass.
No, he was very risk averse.
So, again, not defending Ream because he was the worst of the 2. But I'm giving Richards a 3. Can I just go on Ream real quick? Because I'm going to be super quick on it. I'm just going to give him a 1. It was a horrible performance.
And I think there's a bigger conversation. Why is Ream still there? What is he still doing here? This man has been in decline for the last year. He's 36 years old. We're building for a tournament when he's going to be 38. And he's already decided to go play in a retirement league. I'm sorry. No, it's time for him to go.
That was probably the option he had, dude. So he's on the decline, yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, it's over. Like, thank you for your service. You were great for a while. There's no point in having you here.
And here's the point we have to make. Even if Tim Ream is like let's say he's slightly better than Trusty right now. Even if he's not, let's just say he is. 2 years from now, Tim Ream will most likely be worse than what he is now because of where he went to play and because of his age, because he's already declining too. So I'm giving him a 1, probably shouldn't be there anymore. And I guess now we go to Lund.
I'll say real quick, if Trusty had come on and put the performance that Ream had just put on, people would say he should never play for the national team again. The truth. Doesn't have it. And this is not new from Ream. He was poor in Copa America, right? This is not like an outlier performance from Ream. Up until Qatar 2022, that was very good. After that, he's very much in decline. Lund. I'll go first on Lund. I'm giving him a 3 also. Just doesn't have it. I actually thought Lund tried. He's one of those guys that he seemed eager, right? He was like, I got to put it. If you look about desire, I think we saw that, but there's just not a lot of quality there.
No, it's what I was saying in the stream. Like, I don't see an improvement from him to like a John Tolkien, which is already, to me, not good enough for the national team. I just don't see. The guy's 22. He's still in the 2nd division of Italy, staying there. If you're 22 and you're good enough, to a bare minimum, go to like an Eredivisie. Like, that's better. Like a bare minimum. It's just not it. Good hustle, good fight. But I'm just going to give him the same I gave Scal. I'm going to give him a 2 because I don't think he offered anything on the ball besides trying. And defensively also is like, So I'm just going to give him a 2 too because I don't want to think about it much.
Johnny. I'm giving Johnny a 2 as well. He was really poor today.
I'm just going to go with a 2 or 1.5. The first goal was a bad giveaway from Johnny. Outside of that, he had actually another bad giveaway that he got lucky before that one.
Yes, I remember that.
And then after that, he wasn't as bad as the first 20 minutes, but didn't do much and got subbed out because he wasn't doing anything good. So 1.5 or 2, something around that.
Yeah.
And here's just to add one thing about Johnny, because people love to call me biased with Johnny. He earned a start and an opportunity with the national team because of how he plays for his club, which rightfully so, it's mostly good. But if he comes to the national team and plays like shit, like it was today, he shouldn't start. Simple as that. I'm not going to be here defending the guy. Like, if he plays like that, he doesn't start. Simple as that. The whole argument with Johnny is we need to give him a look. He needs to get a fair shot. He got a fair shot today. He got a fair shot, and he didn't play well. Now, even we're going to talk about this later, I probably think Aiden Morris should probably get a shot over Johnny next game, and Johnny should come off the bench, and if he plays well, he can get another shot later on. But Johnny had an opportunity today with no Tyler Adams to stand out, and he didn't. He didn't stand out today. Didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
On the contrary.
You want to go first on Musa?
Say like a little bit better than Johnny. So whatever we gave Johnny, slightly better. Also had bad giveaways, just got lucky that he didn't get punished. Didn't get punished. So probably if Johnny was 1.52, I'll say Musa is like a 2 or 2.5.
What really bothers me about Musa is that he's been with this team for a long time. He says 40 plus caps. and I really haven't seen improvement. You could argue some improvements at Milan for club, but when he plays for the US, it's always the same Musa. It feels like very passive. Like, did you notice Musa in the game at all?
I noticed the bad giveaways.
Yeah, that like at no point does like Musa really stand out. Sometimes he would try to dribble like into this dead like alley and then give the ball away. And other than that, it just felt like there's this passivity from Musa that like, dude, I know you're young, but you've been with this team for a long time. He has almost like, I think 40 caps at least. And I really haven't seen growth.
It's not just the 40 caps. The guy's played multiple Nations League, played in the World Cup. The guy's played for Valencia in La Liga for what, 3 seasons? Second season in Milan. It's like you have to start standing out more at some point.
Yeah. I know, some people think he's Ronaldinho, but I just really,
Dan,
I haven't seen any improvement from Musa in 4 years. And that's what's starting to bother me, right? Matt Doyle said that Musa would be better than Frankie de Jong. Yeah, well, that's Matt Doyle for you.
I would trade Musa for Frankie de Jong.
Everybody would trade Musa for Frankie de Jong. Let's see. I'm just going to give him a 2 as well. I thought he was really poor. Tillman. Now, I'm going to give Tillman a 6. Mm-hmm. Not because he was incredible, but he showed flashes. In fact, I would say a lot of our good moves. Okay, the chance that Pulisic had started with Tillman, and it was a really nice ball over to Balogun, which he then set up for Pulisic. There was also one where he got the ball in his own box, dribbled past a man. Do you remember that? Dribbled downfield and then sliced a through ball for Balogun. He showed moments of good.
He backheeled a pass to Balogun where Balogun should have scored.
Yes.
In the box. That was a very brilliant. Guys, look, Tillman, maybe the biggest problem with Tillman was he didn't get enough touches. Not because of him, just the ball wasn't getting there. I'm actually going to give him a 7. I thought he created it. Like, it was the only player creating. I don't remember him being sloppy on the ball in any moment. Like, he was actually controlling, either making a safe pass or actually making something happen. He was our best on-field player. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, I mean, he was like him and Schulte were the only encouraging performances, to be honest. Everyone else was. Brendo, you want to go first on Brendo?
I'm going for 2, like similar to like Musa.
Yeah, just
runs.
Just
he always tries hard. He always does, but 2. That's not enough.
Brendo is the classic case for effort, right? People say effort. He shows effort. I'll give Brendo that. I'll give him a 3 maybe for his effort. But he's completely ineffective, guys. He's completely ineffective no matter how much effort he shows.
Pete, I would argue that people are talking about MLS players putting effort. I doubt any MLS player will put as much effort as Brendan Aronson.
Yeah. Yeah, he always shows effort. The guy is just completely useless, right? I'm sorry. At this point, the only reason he's there or should have been there is because Paredes and Weah were injured, right? If Weah and Paredes are there, you could argue Griffin Yao probably deserves more of a look than Brendan at this point. If you have Haji, Pulisic, Weah, Yao, Paredes, honestly, I would take all 5 of them over.
Haji looked better than Brendan when he came on.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So it's like Aronson might not make it to 2026. Who's next? Pulisic. I'm going to go first on Pulisic. 1. I'm sorry. I hold him to a higher standard than everybody else because he's the face of this team. He's the leader of this team. He's the most experienced player on this team. And he's the best player on this team. So when you put in a performance that was completely inept like that, but also whine and bitch every time you get knocked off the ball, I'm sorry, I'm giving you a 1. That was a terrible Pulisic performance.
I'll give him a 2 just because he had one cool moment.
Did he? I didn't see it.
He lobbed the ball over the player and it was pretty cool. Then he lost the ball right after.
Oh,
he sucked. He was terrible today. He
should have scored that.
I'm giving it a 2 as a joke. It's just terrible. 2, 1, 0.5. It was a horrible performance from Pulisic, and we talked about this. Pulisic, one of those players where it's like a 2 or an 8. Like that's how
he doesn't. He never
doesn't have
6.
like a 6. Or he's like, he did okay today. He made it's like complete shit. And then next game he scores a brace. Like, and it's like that's Pulisic.
No, it's pathetic. Balogun. Balogun's a bit tougher. I think I'm giving him Balogun a 4 because I don't think he was good, but I also think he suffered from a lack of service.
I was going to give him a 4 also because I thought it was not enough service, touches. But the ball that Tillman gave him with a back heel, a clinical finisher scores that.
Yeah.
That was not a tough finish. The Canadian player was far from him. He was able to get the shot off pretty easily, and then he just hit it very weakly with his left foot. So I'm dropping a point. I'm giving Balogun a 3. You have to score that, dude. You're the center forward. You have those. That's why you're there. That was a clear-cut chance. He should have scored that. I'm giving him a 3.
Do you remember there was, though, a ball from Haji that put Balogun in behind, and he shot from like
the left,
a wide angle, and he shot for the. That is how we should be using Balogun,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. Finding him in behind, through balls to Balogun is how we should be using him, not making him play hold up and all of that. It just doesn't work with Balogun. It's really not. It's not his game. And, again, that's going to be on Pochettino to figure that out and how to use him best. But I'll give him a 4. Trying to think. So
Now
subs were De La Torre. I mean, look, De La Torre scored. But other than that, I'm going to give De La Torre a 5. Because he scored. But other than that, he was a 3.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, he missed preseason, I think, and he hasn't played for Celta. He didn't look sharp.
No.
And he scored a goal, that Aiden Morris found him, a very easy shot. And he was also offside, by the way. I know it wasn't called offside, but he was offside. I guess like we can bump him to a 5 because of the goal, and everyone was so mediocre. And I guess like Del Torre wasn't horrendous also. Definitely not horrendous. So a 5 because of the goal, I guess. They also put originally him as a 10, and then he got moved back, and then Pulisic became the 10. I'll give him a 5 just because I don't feel like thinking about it.
Yeah. Aiden Morris. I'm giving Aiden Morris a 5 because he got that nice assist on the goal. But other than that, he looked average, very average.
Pretty much the same.
I think 5 is fair.
Was the assist accidental?
Probably. But I'll bump you up for the assist, right?
Yeah.
Like if you weren't shit, he wasn't shit. He
wasn't bad. Yeah, he didn't.
He did his job.
I said it. I think Aiden Morris has earned the opportunity to possibly start against New Zealand. See how he does there.
Yeah, give him a full game. Let's see how I mean, it's New Zealand, but sure, he's earned starts. I think Sargent has probably earned a start too, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know why he didn't get on the field. We'll talk about that. But then the other subs that really matter, I guess Haji. I'm going to give Haji a 6. He impacted the game when he came on.
He put Pepe on a 1v1 to goalkeeper. Pepe took a poor touch and followed up with a poor finish.
Yeah.
Haji, I'll probably give him like a 5.5, slightly above average performance in the limited minutes that he had. But yeah, he probably should have started. Haji probably should have started over Brendan Aronson.
Pepe, you go first on Pepe.
Let me give him a 3, dude. Didn't offer anything. And then he had a chance to score. He missed it. He hasn't been good for PSV too, guys. When Luke de Jong went down and then Pepe got, 70 minutes that game or 60 minutes? I said this before, like when you watch Pepe and Luke de Jong playing the same game, like that one, for example, Luke de Jong is literally better than him in every single attribute possible as a center forward. Everything. No exceptions. So yeah, Pepe a 3. But before Pepe, Cade Cowell was sent in before Pepe.
Yeah, I want to talk about Cade Cowell. I actually think Cade Cowell coming on was a positive. I hope it was a positive. And I'll tell you why. Hear me out. I hope that people can see after this Cade Cowell performance just how completely useless he is as a soccer player. Like every time he got the ball, he either ran it out of play or gave it away. True or false?
That's all I remember. Him and his... So I got some of his stats here. 13 minutes, 5 touches, 0 out of 2 accurate crosses. All of them were inaccurate. 2 lost all 2 of his ground duels. Like it just everything was a loss. He lost everything.
No, we've been saying this for years since his under 20 days, guys. He did nothing. I think people like Cade Cowell because it's sort of the Breck Shea thing. He looks cool. He looks like he could be an American hero.
He also scores bangers sometimes.
He's tall. He scores the same banger off the left. Guys, there is no Cade Cowell is the same player he's always been. He's not really a national team player. And you could see that. All he did was run down the field and lose the ball. That classic Cade Cowell. People will like it because he runs, right? He runs fast. Oh, look, I'm running. And his hair is blowing in the wind. Oh, he showed great energy. He's not a soccer player, guys. He's not. And by that, I mean, there's nothing technical about him.
Remember, but Brek Shea also had sometimes some very flashy moments. Remember that?
Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying that I think if Cade Cowell looked like Christian Pulisic, I don't think people would be as high on Cade Cowell, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just because he looks cool.
He has aura, right? When he gets on the field, he's got aura, and people like that. And so they want him to be better than he is. And I just don't think he's what anybody thinks.
Yeah, the dude dresses like a cowboy and actually looks cool.
Yeah, if I dress like a cowboy, I look like a dork. So
imagine
I get
me.
it.
Imagine me.
I get it. You and I can have our own country band. Jeff.
Cade Cowell is the player that has the aura that we would want our best player to have. We would want Pulisic to have the Cade Cowell aura.
Yeah, exactly. He has aura, and I think that's why people overrate his play on the field. But he was terrible today. I'm giving him a 1. I'm sorry. Jeff Carey says, Tack 7, Pete 8, Jeff 2 because I fell asleep. I'll try harder. Sorry.
Why do I only get a 7? Okay, I'll take it.
Maybe because I look better in cowboy outfits. David Garzon says, I love how they will still talk bad about Jesse Marsch. We're complimenting Jesse Marsch. Are you talking about us or are you talking about the media?
Well, I mean, I'm complimenting him. I talked about the positives. I still don't think Jesse Marsch is this brilliant coach. I think he was able to actually build an identity with this team, get a style of play, and Canada happens to have the players that suit his playing style. That's what I think he did. And he's a good motivational guy. He's always been a good motivational guy. But like not this brilliant coach that you think, sure, probably maybe a better option than Berhalter, like probably would have been a better option to Berhalter just for the fact that he can motivate the team. But I mean, the guy literally failed in every tough league he had to, while we have a coach like Pellegrino Materazzo that's been holding his own in the Bundesliga for years.
Yeah.
That's like, where did Jesse Marsch succeed? The Austrian, not even succeed. Austrian league, he did what he was supposed to do. Yeah. MLS, I guess you can call him successful. And then Canada. That's it.
Yeah.
Failed in the Bundesliga, failed in the Premier League whenever he was actually challenged.
I mean, he has strong points. His man management and his motivation style. He's a very inspiring guy. And that's why I said when Canada hired him, I said it would work because the first year or two with Jesse is honeymoon stuff, right? A lot of his tactical ineptitude gets covered up by his very inspirational style, right? And he's very good at getting players to believe, and that can paper over a lot of cracks for a while. Even at Leeds, when he came in and he rescued them from relegation early on, right? But when he had to actually play a full season, he got found out very, very quickly. So he's a good coach, and I think he's going to do well with Canada up to 2026. And I think after that, some cracks might start to show. Julian Vivas says, didn't get to watch the game, but just saw the result. Does Pochettino have second thoughts? No, I mean, he's not like that going to be that reactionary, but certainly he's going to have thoughts about what he needs to do. I think if you watch this game, he's going to go, what the hell is this? This is not what I want to see. And I hope he does.
I also think that this kind of helps Pochettino to a certain extent because the lower it is, the bigger it will be his accomplishment.
Can't get much lower than this.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can, like I can't see us getting any worse than this with him. So I would assume we can only go up with him. And if we go up with him to the bare minimum, it'll be considered an average job. Now, if he does super well, it'll be a good job. I think it just strengthens him. And I'm pretty sure Pochettino by now, he probably already looked through the Copa America tapes, had his team go through it, and probably already saw a lot of issues. And today, if he was watching, which I'm assuming he was watching, he probably just went through it and just like, it's still the same problems that they'll have to address. It's the same issue.
Michael Higuera, people are exaggerating. Triple G had this team playing like shit for 6 years and expect virus to come and change the face of the team. Why would players care? So, Michael, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. When you put on the jersey of your national team, when you get to represent your country, you should not need external motivation. Why should you care? Because you're representing your country, because you're wearing the stars and stripes, because out of 330 million people, a handful of people get this opportunity to represent the country. I'm sorry. If you need a coach to tell you to care, then you're in the wrong business. Go become an accountant. Okay? It's ridiculous. Yes, this culture was definitely created and fostered by Triple G, but that does not excuse the players for that performance. That performance was completely inept and was completely lacking in any fire at all. I'm sorry. I'm not exaggerating. That's the truth. You can disagree with me. That's fine. But the players need to be held to a lot higher standard. This sets up well for Poch being the savior. I still like Herb because he is a beautiful man. Yes, we expect that. We very much expect that, Jeff. How would you deal with the players that are not caring? If you really don't care, you don't play, right? But you know what? More often than not, and this is what Pochettino is going to do. Again, this is in his autobiography. He says, when I notice something wrong with a player, I prefer to talk to them about it first and say, this is what I see, and this is what I need from you. And then I wait for them to change. If there is no change, then there starts to be consequences. And I think that's a good thing. If you go to, let's say, not saying he doesn't care. Some people will say he doesn't, but let's say Gio Reyna. You go to Gio Reyna and say, listen, Gio, you are not doing enough work on this side of the ball. Or when I ask you to do this, you're not doing it. If you don't do it, you don't start. That's probably what will happen. And then in the next game, if Gio continues that way, he'll probably bench him. That's really it. You set the expectations and you also set the example as a coach. Hold yourself accountable, hold yourself to high standards, and set a baseline for culture. And the baseline for culture is not, oh, I talked to Tyler Adams about his wife, or I took them to Gettysburg and showed them a PowerPoint. The baseline for culture is, this is what I expect every single game. You hit this level of intensity and effort and tactical understanding of what I want us to do. And if you don't do it, you don't play. Well, usually what happens is most players follow that. When you set it early on, you set the standard early. And the ones who don't hit it, one of two things happens. They get a consequence and then they change, or they don't care enough and they're out of the team. That's it, really. I don't know what you would do, Tack, but that's what I would do.
I mean, that's all you can do, right? He's coming in as a new guy. He needs to give the best players an opportunity. You talked about Gio Reyna, for example, like Weston McKennie too. Bring him in,
sure.
Have a talk with him. It's like, hey, these are the issues. This is what I want to change. And give all these guys a shot. See what they're going to do. That can take some time. And maybe some guys that are very good and very important for the team might be excluded because of these reasons. We'll see. We'll see what he does. I'm gonna fully back Pochettino at least till the summer of 2025. I want to see what changes, what he does until the Gold Cup of 2025. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to turn on him by then. I'm just saying that by then, I want to believe everything he does is for a reason and that we're going on track. That's what I want to believe. And there has to be a lot of changes. And it's not looking good, man. We just got grouped in the Copa America. We were this close of losing to Jamaica in the semifinals of the Nations League, which would have been embarrassing. A Jamaica B team. We just lost to Canada at home. On Tuesday, we play New Zealand, and we'll see how that one goes. But it's not looking good. We're not playing well. The team doesn't seem to care. And I don't want to hear the excuses that we don't have a coach now, because these players should be given it all just because it's the U.S. And then on top of that, they should all assume that Pochettino is watching, which, again, I am certain that he was watching this game. And I am certain that this guy did not like what he saw.
So that's it, guys. We're going to end it here. Thanks for watching. Smash the like button before you go. Patreon, were you going to do 7 things for this?
Yeah, I'll do it. There's a lot of things we learned, yeah.
Great. 7 things. Game breakdown on Patreon tomorrow, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Signing off. Sad and disappointed, but there are brighter days ahead, we hope.